Okay, so today's back to legs and arms, but I'll do a more quad-focused leg workout. Um, my knee's feeling a little bit funny. I don't know what I did. Kind of twisted it a little bit yesterday, so hopefully it doesn't hold me back too much. In a different gym today, though, I really like there's a unilateral plate-loaded leg extension at this gym, so I can really concentrate on each leg individually. I really like the quads. So yeah, see how we go. Now I've been talking to a lot of people lately about my training split and what I'm doing at the moment. So essentially every 3 days I'm training every body part. So in 6 days, training every body part twice, but not a huge amount of overall volume or sets per workout. And online I've seen a lot of arguing backwards and forwards about this whole frequency versus volume versus intensity. And people talking about, Arnold trained twice a day, 5 hours a day, and Dorian Yates did this, and realistically, if you look at almost every great bodybuilder, almost everyone ends up doing the same thing. You start training, and let's say in the very, very beginning, most people don't start out going to the gym 6 days a week. Most people start out going 2 or 3 days a week to the gym, right? So when you go 2 or 3 days, you have to kind of train either full body or like an upper lower split, even though a lot of people don't even train legs when they first start going. But assuming you were training every muscle group, if you were doing 2 workouts a week, you would either have to do full body twice or upper body on one day and lower body on another day. And then as we get more involved and get more into it, we tend to increase from 2 or 3 days to 3 to 4 days, or 4 to 5 days. And eventually what happens is people end up exhausting the amount of workouts that they can do in a week. So in the beginning, the argument comes about, okay, well, what's better, volume or intensity? And the reality is that ideally both would be better, but it's really what you can recover from. So all top bodybuilders in the beginning end up doing more volume, and then they get to a certain point where it's impossible to recover from that amount of volume, and they see further results by then reducing the volume and focusing more on recovery and intensity. So I guess the argument is, okay, if Dorian Yates, between the years of 94 and 97 or whatever, if he did 4 workouts a week, training every body part once, and each workout was around 45 minutes, well, he was one of the best bodybuilders ever. So why not just start with that? And the reason why it doesn't necessarily work for a beginner to start like that, there's 2 reasons. And the first one is that you don't have the skill of training, and you're not skillful enough with your training to be able to, in that period of time, cause the amount of stimulus that someone who's been training 10 or 15 years has got. And the second factor that's super important here is just the sheer amount of weight that someone is shifting around, like literally how strong you are. Like, for example, if you can bench press, somewhere between 60 and 100 kilos, you can probably do that at least twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. and be able to recover from that. But if you can bench press 200 kilos, then the chances that you're going to be able to do that twice a week and recover from it and continue to make progress is very, very minimal. So, and this is like performance enhancements aside. Let's say all things being equal, you have someone, and for argument's sake, let's just say someone is using some performance enhancement and they can bench 100 kilos. When you go over time, your strength increases from the point where you can bench 100 kilos to where you can bench 200 kilos. Your capacity to recover doesn't double. In fact, your capacity to recover might not increase at all. So the amount of stress that you're putting on your body is going to be significantly higher when you can bench press the 200 kilos. But your body's ability to recover is going to be relatively the same, which means the time it's going to take you to recover from a 200 kilo bench press workout is going to be significantly longer than the time it would take you to recover from a 100 kilo bench press. And that's not just the musculature and the tendon and ligaments and the structural things, but it's also from a central nervous system point of view. Hello? I had a phone call. So, so from a central nervous system point of view, as you get stronger and lift heavier weights and create more overall strain on your body, central nervous system is one of the really key important factors to take into consideration when it comes to a recovery point of view. And I think, most people, myself included, when you start training, okay, we go to the gym 3 days a week, we see a good result. And we start going to the gym 4 days a week, we see a better result. You increase to 5 days a week, you get an even better result. You go to 6 days a week, you get a better result. And at a certain point, you hit, somewhat of a plateau as far as like the overall results you're getting from a muscle building point of view. From a fat burning point of view, it's, more is more. Realistically, you're burning more calories and whatever. But from a muscle building point of view, you hit a plateau as far as building new tissue and getting stronger goes. And a lot of times, our simple brains, we remember the experience of increasing the amount of training that we've done and correlating that with a better result. So if we're training 6 days a week and we've hit a plateau and we've been doing, let's say 4 exercises per muscle group, 3 to 4 sets each, and our immediate, knee-jerk reaction was, oh, we need more than that. So maybe we should do 5 sets, per exercise and do 5 exercises. So we get 25 sets per muscle group. So I think that's the tendency that we all have. And then anyone who's progressed to a very high level, I think, or most people anyway, something happens, whether they let's get an injury or they get busy for a week, or they go on holiday and don't train for 5 days, something, and then they come back into the gym after that short period of time off, and they have one of the best workouts they've had in the last 6 months. And eventually, when these things start to happen, the penny starts to drop, and you realize that, okay, so maybe the amount of overall volume you've been doing has been limiting you from making further progress forwards. In which case, people come to the obvious realization that reducing the amount of volume is going to be beneficial, because then with less workouts, each individual workout becomes more effective. And I think that's the most important kind of thing to track, is not how many workouts in a week that you're doing, but how many effective workouts are you doing? Like, how many workouts did you get through where you got to the end of the workout and you were like, yes, I really took a step forwards today, versus how many workouts did you get through and go, yeah, that was pretty much the same as what I did last week. So if you do 6 workouts a week, and in a month you have 3 workouts where you said, yes, I took a step forwards today, you haven't had like a super productive month. But if you did 3 workouts a week, and 2 workouts every week, you were like, yes, I made a step forward today, then you would have had 8 workouts in the month where you made some forwards progress. So, I think it's when you think about it logically out loud, it's pretty common sense. And people often like to talk about Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman, all these guys. I think Mike Mentzer is an interesting one to talk about, because I think in his earlier years he was, onto it more so, but he seemed to have kind of like, I don't know, lost his marbles a little bit at the end. And when he was getting to the one workout every 10 days or, claims like this, I think that's probably going too far in the other direction. I don't know, maybe he was the first ever influencer who was making outrageous claims to try to sell his idea or whatever it happens to be. But because obviously if you did one workout every 10 days, it's you're going to miss out on all the metabolic effects of training as well. So, but people like to talk about like Dorian Yates, for example. If you look at, you can buy online, I don't know if you can buy it anymore, to be honest, but Dorian Yates' training journals from up until 91 Olympia. And if you look at his early training splits, he was training every muscle group twice a week. And then obviously the most famous training split, this like blood and guts style training that he made famous, that only really came about after he was already kind of like at the top level, and he was trying to find an extra 10%, But the majority of his gains came from training every muscle group twice a week. Actually, it's a very good read, his training journals, because you can see that each workout he's really putting thought into. He has a training split, but it kind of varies from week to week depending on how he's feeling. Like, for example, if he writes notes in there, right, you can see all the handwritten notes he has there. You can see that if he's supposed to train, let's say legs and arms, but he has a pain in his elbow or something, he might just train legs that day and not do the arms. And he might shift the rest of the week around to accommodate that. Or he might just take a whole day off additionally, and only train 3 days out of the week instead of 4 days out of the week, or whatever it happens to be. So it's a very good read, because it shows you that at a high level you can have the best laid plans, but sometimes you have to adjust and accommodate those plans. And this is in a more normal scenario, I guess the similar situation would be, you have a particular exercise that you want to do for a muscle group. Like, say you're training chest and you come in and you want to start on a particular machine, but that machine is taken. Or rather than being like so dogmatic and sticking to it, there's no reason why you couldn't change the order of your workout or substitute, a different exercise, because again, you had a plan, but circumstances arose. So, and this is especially important, especially if it's like comes to the second exercise of the workout. And say you do your first exercise, and then the second exercise you were planning on doing is the machine's taken. Like, what are you going to do? Stand around for 10 minutes waiting for a machine to become available, in which time you're probably going to cool down, lose your pump, probably lose your focus as well. So, yeah, I guess that's the name of the game, isn't it? You have a plan, and then you have to, almost always adjust it according to circumstances that arise. So, all right, that's enough warming up. I'm going to see what I can do, see if this knee isn't bothering too much. Like I said, it's not, I didn't really do anything to it. I just kind of like came down the stairs like carrying a box. It was a bit funny, and I kind of like twisted going around the corner, and it was just, yeah. But I think once I warm up a little bit, it'll be fine. So let's see how we go. definitely my quads have taken the biggest hit from this injury. It's kind of like the muscle I really haven't been able to train with any sort of intensity more than anything else. And I guess that's because, I guess if you think about the main quad movements, either, you know, knee extension, like leg extension type movements, or squatting, leg pressing movements. Both of those aggravate sciatic pain. So I have that nerve compression in my spine, which causes the sciatic pain. So sitting in this position here and extending my leg up here has been extremely difficult to do without getting some shooting pain down my back. It's getting better now. Sometimes better than others, but yeah, and then obviously squatting movements, I can't really load my spine at the moment. So it's definitely been the biggest struggle. So at the moment I'm trying to just focus on exercises like this, like isometric holds, and trying to hold on to as much muscle as I can. Obviously I'm not going to be like building a huge amount of muscle in my quads with this sort of level of intensity, but you know, slowly, once I feel I can be in these positions without any pain, I can start to load it a little bit more. And when my back was, you know, first really bad, especially my left side, I actually couldn't flex my quad, my outside quad. I could flex like the VMR or medialis, but the outside part, no matter how hard I tried to like flex my quad, it just wouldn't switch on, which kind of like makes you think we have all these like ideas about when bodybuilders get older. They say the first thing that goes is your legs. Well, the chances that every bodybuilder, you know, who's trained hard and, you know, being a serious competitive bodybuilder, that once they get to their mid to late 30s, early 40s, they have some sort of at least minor disc herniation is pretty high. So if you have some amount of compression of the nerve, you won't be able to activate that muscle as well as what you could or should or otherwise would be able to. So it really makes you think that maybe because there's no physiological reason why, you know, as you age, one particular muscle group would start shrinking, unless, of course, you couldn't train it well and stimulate it well. So I'd be very interested to see, once I fully recover this, like, what capacity I can get my legs to. If I can get them back to as big as they were, can I get them bigger? So it will be interesting. Oh yeah. That was a pretty pathetic effort. Gotta get my head in the game today. Oh man. I just tried one set of the squat machine and one set of lunges. And again, I don't feel super comfortable with my back yet, so I think that'll be it. I'll just do quads. I'll do some arms now. And following on the discussion from before about the, like beginners getting probably a better result from more volume and more frequency, is that it takes more work to generate the stimulus you need to grow. And the more volume you do as a beginner, the more practice you get at doing reps. And really, it's really how well you execute reps, especially the last few reps of the set, which is going to determine how effective that set has been. And so, the reason why I've gone back to a more, doing more frequency at the moment is because I'm not lifting super heavy weights. So I'm not generating the same stimulus or the same stress on my body that requires me to reduce the frequency and overall volume. So if I was to train, probably the biggest I ever was, I was doing 2 days on, 1 day off. And I had like a 9-day rotation. So it was something like back, hamstrings off, chest, back, off, quads, shoulders and arms off. So, it's some of those muscle groups I only get trained once, like directly, in 9 days. But I was training very, very hard and relatively heavy. So, that was quite effective that time. If I was to do that now, it's overkill as far as recovery goes. I don't need that amount of recovery for the intensity that I can generate at the moment. And right now, intensity is not the name of the game for me. It's making everything perfect, getting my body back to the point where I'm pain-free, relatively strong at all the key movements, and then I can, ramp it up a bit. would like to do a little bit more triceps, but I'm kind of running out of time today. Plus, I'll probably do dips tomorrow anyway, so that'll do it.